$9,000 in disaster relief grants to families in South Trinidad affected by recent disasters. At a distribution ceremony at the Penal-Debe Regional Corporation, 65 grants were handed out to over 40 households, benefiting 160 people across the Penal-Debe, Siparia and nearby communities. Minister of the People, Social Development and Family Services Vandana Mohit led the exercise, stressing her ministry's commitment to faster and fairer assistance for vulnerable families. The grants form part of the National Social Development Program, which the ministry says is central to its mission of reducing poverty, tackling inequality, and strengthening the social safety net. Well, those were 6 AM News headlines. We'll have another news update at the top of the hour, right here on CNC3 and the TBC Radio Network.
Morning Brew is brought to you by Omega XL. Live long, stay strong.
Good Thursday morning, Trinidad and Tobago, running into a brand new day, the day after our Republic Day holiday. We're still very much in that particular mood, and we will continue with at least the graphic, I would imagine, for the end of the week. Obviously, come October, we get into budget mode, so lots of discussions regarding the economy and the projection that's going to be coming up, I would imagine, starting from next week. But at least until then, we continue with the format. A great show carded for you today. I could safely tell you we will go straight until 8 o'clock. I'm with you till 8 this morning, so some extended conversations after 7. And I'm getting a chance this morning to touch base with Austin Jack Warner, who was just able to, at least via the courts, dance his way out of the extradition. I would say that extradition cloud that was over his head for probably a decade plus. So we'll get a chance to touch base with Jack Warner concerning that development, his legacy, and what particular toll this legal battle took on him. Obviously, that and other matters will be up for discussion this morning. So I look forward to that conversation with Jack Warner. That's happening inside the first hour. Let's go through the front page of the Trinidad and Tobago Guardian. Again, good morning, TNT. Jason Williams, JW signing on. I'm here with the team, as mentioned, until 8 a.m. I deserve my ORTT, my Order of the Republic. Professor Kojo rebukes detractors linking award, the national award and the highest award, to his UNC support. Of course, I mean, you know, naturally that's, you know, that will be, that, I mean, will be the counter argument, of course. And listen, I don't get into who deserves an award, who don't deserve an award. I mean, to all those who are mentioned every year, comes around and people step up and they're given that recognition for their contribution. To me, once you're able to move the needle, I think, you know, it's fitting that you are recognized. My only issue, and it's not something from recent time, I would have said this time and time again, I think it really hurts when you see certain folks getting the award posthumously when they've passed on, and you see they have to send up well, it's either a daughter or a son or a family member have to go up and collect on their behalf, and they are no more. I find there needs to be consideration as to those people who are still with us so that they can go and receive the award themselves. Why it is we wait until somebody go till they pass on, then to say, aha, yeah, let's put them in the mix, come on. I just find like we find ourselves doing that every single year. And it's not even a administration issue. Every administration, whether it be from you could call whoever was at the wheel, from PNM to NAR to UNC, come right down the road, they all do it. Where someone is no more, they've passed on, not suggesting that we can recognize somebody or can't say, hey, call them and recall their legacy, but we could not give it to them while they were alive. You know, that's I mean, I don't know. It's just one that baffles me time and time again. But nonetheless, Professor Kojo, he received his award in person. Of course, the other recipient of the Order of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, Professor Kenneth Ramchan, Professor Emeritus, of course, when it comes to education, and, well, Ho Choi Charles, posthumously, for his contribution to Tobago. His son actually was there to collect on his behalf. A couple of other notable names here. Now, everyone obviously deserves to be mentioned, but you can see all the names here on page 6 inside today's Guardian. But a couple of names that, I guess, ring a bell for me, and I'm really happy. Again, happy for everybody, yeah? Posthumous or in person, living. But still, as I said before, I think we need to start to move up and consider all those who are still here with us so they can walk on the stage and receive their award. So I'm looking at the likes of Kenny Phillips, producer and arranger, engineer, broadcaster, media executive. He received an award for Arts and Culture, Shakonia Medal Silver. I'm seeing Ivan Tulsi. That's right. Our very own Ivan Tulsi, journalist, film and media. So that's a good look. I'm seeing a posthumous award for Rashoti I. Could you believe this? After all, how long Rashoti is not with us? I mean, come on. Again, Rashoti I, the inventor of soca. Granted, yes, he would have moved away from the genre and went into his jamu music and more into the conscious offerings of his musical talent. But again, you know, nonetheless, I mean, his daughter was there, all smiles, Abby, to receive on his behalf. I'm seeing the likes of Drupati. I'm happy for Drupati. Oh my goodness, she is a real treasure. I know all of Pinal and those in the Chutney fraternity are extremely happy this morning. So Drupati receiving her award in person. Anil Beam, posthumous recognition. And I'm looking at some others here. So obviously you can get the Guardian and go through all via the awards last evening. I know the Prime Minister is off to New York, probably touching down as we speak and prepping for her address to the United Nations General Council tomorrow. So that's happening now. Akash Samaru, our lead when it comes to the politics, he is in New York as we speak, and he will bring us the latest when we check in with Akash. That's after 7. Let's see what's happening on the back page on this Thursday morning. And more of the awards, of course. What an honor. Nicholas Puran, as they call him, Nicky P, captain of the TKR cricket team, receives the Shakonia Medal Gold, the nation's second highest honor, on behalf of the team from the President Christine Kangaloo during the National Award ceremony at Queen's Hall, St. Anne's yesterday. So, as mentioned, you know, these awards, different administrations are at the helm, but the real person to govern, I would say, and to really champion the awards is indeed the president. Always on show, and it usually will be at President's house. I like the look of Queen's Hall and the president making that decision a couple of years ago to bring students in the mix to read out the awardees alongside the one of those top brass members of the Defense Force. I like the look, and I love the fact that the school children are intertwined in the process. So it's not just administrations and in terms of governments, but the president plays a major part in the mix. And hey, you know, well done. Great production, and I'm sure all who attended had a great time yesterday. Well done. Let's head to the brief on this Thursday morning. Today, Thursday, the 25th, in case I didn't mention. So, your awardees. Yeah, that what we're talking about all morning, you know, at least for the early part, you know, some of the awardees here. I'm seeing Drupati in the mix, a couple of others. You know, I must also commend some of the brothers there from, I think it was Sealots. They received the Hummingbird Medal Bronze. Remember that situation where they were able to help out? It's gallantry, you know, when you're able to help out someone and you go beyond the boundary. Well, they were given a nice mention there. And they actually said, I love their words, it's on page 7, they said, help where you can. And I endorse that from our brothers there from Sealots, Terrence David and Deshaun Hamilton. Well done. Let's move to the Business Guardian. And the breakdown is coming up next. More deficit debt in 2026. That's the call from economists. And Anthony Wilson is going to join me on the Zoom line right now. Well, we'll take a pause first, and he's going to check in to break down and unpack this week's Business Guardian. Again, congratulations to all the awardees, those alive and those not with us anymore. Great to be recognized. All the best. Let's come back. Your Business Guardian up next.
The most modern pharmaceutical facility in the country. Food Basket Hyperfarm Pharmacy Food Basket Complex, Arima. We stock the widest range of health and beauty products, baby supplies, stationery, fragrances, and cosmetics. Our organic, sugar, and gluten-free products cater to vegans and the health conscious. A wide assortment of dispensary medication and over-the-counter items at the most affordable prices. Make Hyperfarm Pharmacy your choice. Located on the compound of Food Basket Complex, Arima.
Things don't always go as expected. Be ready with Trinry for auto, home, business and group life. Call us at 800-TRIN or visit trinry.com today. Huge insurance premium. Pay your premiums bit by bit with FlexiPay from Trinry. For more manageable auto, home and commercial insurance payments, call us at 800-TRIN or visit trinry.com today. Trinry. Premier insurance coverage for less.
Get a loan at Bremont. The process is simple. Fast and efficient approvals. Receive funds within 24 hours once approved. And no penalty for early repayment. Located at 4 Gallo Street, Woodbrook. Remember, we like to lend.
Gaming Express Limited is a premium importer and retailer of the highest quality brand name electronics. We stock the widest range of PlayStation, Nintendo Switch, Samsung and Apple devices and accessories. Visit us at Shop 52, Level 2 Gulf City Mall in San Fernando, or contact us by phone or WhatsApp message at 687-7480 or 301-9797 or 798-1280. Like our Facebook and Instagram pages for updates on products and services.
Would you recommend this product to younger people?
Age doesn't really matter. So I think if I was 17, 18 and I get introduced to these products, I would maybe be Superman. So
More Superman?
More Superman.
Absolutely outstanding.
Great deals with PRW. Save big with laptops starting from $3,100. Sky 7-inch tablet only $465. Need a printer? We've got it. Starting from $625. Get a 40-inch RCA TV only at $1,850. 19.5-inch LG monitor $699. Secure your home with our security combo starting from $3,000. Call PRW today.
It's your Business Guardian breakdown for today, Thursday, the 25th of September, 2025. Anthony Wilson joins me on the Zoom line. Anthony, great to see you as always.
Good morning, Jason. Good morning
to you. Good morning. Let's start with at least what we're seeing here via the front page. And, you know, I mentioned in my monologue, I anticipate from next week, I'll be diving into lots of different discussions with economists and kind of, I guess, getting people's wish lists for budget 2025. We know it's going to be in October. The Prime Minister did not give us the date just yet, but regardless, we will start our discussions. And I'm seeing that you put forward a very potent question, and you're asking, can government appoint all the RFHL directors? And of course, for those looking on, that is indeed the Republic Financial Holdings Limited.
Yes.
What do you, at least for those who are going to read the article, what's your takeaway? You think all is well there?
Well, the big takeaway from the commentary is that, in the opinion of experts who preferred to remain anonymous because this is a very sensitive matter.
And these experts, Anthony, are like economists?
No. These are people who have served on boards of public companies in Trinidad and Tobago at a very high level.
Okay.
And who, in my view, given their positions in the companies that they served on, have expertise in the field of corporate governance and board appointments. And those three corporate governance experts say, yes, indeed, that the government can appoint all of the directors of Republic Financial Holdings Limited at its upcoming annual meeting, which is due to be held, I think, in November 2025. Yeah.
Okay.
That's the main takeaway.
Excellent. Well, back to the front page, and I'm seeing Geisha was able to elaborate on this story. Well, many economists and those within the financial sector already anticipate that we will continue with this deficit budget.
Yes.
How much of a deficit, I guess, would be the question. What's the takeaway from Geisha's story? It says deficits and debt to continue in 2026 fiscal year.
Yeah. All right. So there may be one or two people viewing this program who are not sure what a deficit is. A deficit is, take a household. If the household's income is $15,000 a month, but the household is spending $20,000 a month, that means the household has a deficit of $5,000 a month. And if the household has a deficit of $5,000 a month, that deficit can be financed from drawing down on savings, one, borrowing money from the bank or from the money lender, two, selling assets, three, so basically those are the three ways, or going out and earning more income.
Yeah.
Those are the four main ways that a deficit can be reduced. So in the same way that it is for a household, it is for a country. If the country is spending more than it is earning, that is a deficit. And oftentimes when countries are in deficit, the deficit is financed by going out and borrowing money to fund the deficit.
And to compound what you just said, since January, I'm looking at oil prices have declined.
Yes.
We're looking at a 13.6% fall from US $73 to 63 now, clearly a barrel. I mean, with all these wars that's happening in Ukraine, and we're seeing what's happening in the Middle East, and it's heartbreaking. I don't even want to even try to make a correlation between what's happening there and business, but unfortunately, that's how I guess the cycle runs. What's going to happen with this oil price? You anticipate it's going to remain the same? And again, we also have our geopolitical storm that's brewing of the Caribbean Sea, Southern Caribbean Sea. What do you anticipate will transpire?
Yeah, so for the Trinidad and Tobago economy, what is important is not so much the oil price, but the price of natural gas. And our natural gas price is a combination of the New York price, the Japan-Korea price, and the Rotterdam price, plus the Henry Hub, which is the New York price. So the natural gas price, combined price, is important to us. The suspicion is that it is lower than the budget projection for 2025, which is why it is quite likely that we're going into the 2026 budget with a deficit. And the natural gas price is not only important because natural gas revenues fund the economy, but natural gas taxes are paid in US dollars, and therefore that those US dollars go into the government's account with the central bank. And the central bank then uses the US dollars, government US dollars, to sell to the commercial banks, the Exim Bank, and to pay for pharmaceuticals and so on.
Well, you know, you mentioned ways to counter the deficit. And the last point, I think, was the most valid. Go out there and make more money for the household.
Yeah.
And that pertains, that could also be applied to a country. I'm looking at one of the low-hanging fruits, which to me is tourism, with our natural beauty, the flora, the fauna, the ecotourism product, the cultural tourism product, Tobago in its all its untapped splendor and beauty. But yet still, you wonder why tourism stakeholders are holding their head at this point in time. They're calling for a bigger marketing spend. As a matter of fact, when looking at the CSO data, there's been a decrease with travel from the US, from England, and from wider Europe in just 1 year.
Yeah.
I mean, it's such a, to me, it's a no-brainer, Anthony. And where do we start to really where do we start to tweak the tourism marketing so that people could understand and know that Trinidad and Tobago exists and they want to come and enjoy?
I think we have to start by just getting out there. We certainly need to spend more money, because you can't get advertisements in the newspapers or on television or on social media unless you spend money. Anybody who looks at cable television would note the amount of money that the Sandals Group spends on advertising hotel rooms in the region. Nobody is saying that we need to replicate the Sandals budget, but there is a certain kind of invisibility of Trinidad and Tobago when it comes to marketing of the two islands, and that really needs to stop. The second point I want to make is that we are in the final stages of commissioning the new international airport in Tobago. And it is, to me, it is quite a shame that we're going to have a new international airport, but there are very, very few first-class hotel rooms that somebody can pay for and stay in Tobago. So yes, there needs to be more spending on marketing of the destinations, but the hotel owners also need to spend money refurbishing the hotel stock. Some of it is quite, I would say, lame, and to attract new visitors to the islands, money is going to need to be spent on refurbishing hotel rooms and hotels in general.
Yeah, important point. And again, I've always, especially when speaking to the Tobago tourism stakeholders, ask one simple question: what is the Tobago product? Because yes, I know you're calling for brand name hotels and for that premium experience, but there are many who want to experience, or at least they want to keep that rootsy, shakedown, you could go and just walk in the village among the people kind of experience for that more natural tourism product. So again, Tobago will have to answer that question, and by all means, I hope within the budget there will be some allocation towards the marketing of both Trinidad and indeed Tobago. A couple seconds that remain. I'll let you have the final say, Anthony.
Yeah, the final say is that we're all looking forward to the 2026 budget. I think people's expectations need to be tempered by the fact that this is still a new administration that has come in to lead Trinidad and Tobago at what is a difficult economic time. So despite the promises that have been made, people need to, there needs to be a realization that manna is not going to fall from heaven. as it did in the past. And while this government may not want to signal a tightening of the belt, people's collective belts at this time, people need to realize that the economy the Trinidad and Tobago economy is not as healthy or wealthy as it was 15 years ago. I think that needs to be the realization of people when they look at and listen to the 2026 budget.
Indeed. Thank you so much, Anthony. All the best.
Welcome.
God spare, we'll touch base next week. And yes, still early days for the new administration, and I think it's a chance for all of us to give them time to settle in, to look at the bigger picture, and I guess probably in the months or even probably the year ahead, then we give a more critical assessment. Thank you so much, Anthony. Let's get ready for a very important conversation. We touch base with Alderman Kobe Sandy from the Point Fortin Borough Council to treat with tensions in the Caribbean waters and what the residents in the Southern Peninsula are saying. Kobe's on the ground, so he could give us that real feedback as to what Cedros, Erin, Point Fortin, Labrie, all these areas are saying with the tensions in the sea and the U.S. deployment of military might in Southern Caribbean waters. Alderman Kobe Sandy next.
Seeing her succeed makes me proud, and I know I made the right choice by giving her Enfagrow since she was little. Knowing that 85% of brain growth will occur by age 3, Enfagrow's blend of ingredients such as DHA helps support your toddler's brain development and contains 22 nutrients to support their diet or nutrition. Enfagrow, what you do today will last forever. This product is not intended to be a substitute or complement to breast milk.
Stay Free is now carefree with the same trusted protection. Available nationwide in overnight maxi, ultra thin super with wings, and ultra thin regular wingless. Enjoy up to 100% protection, instant absorption, and 8-hour odor control, day or night. Feel fearless. Get yours today.
Built to Last has a massive sale on roofing materials, including standing seam. Invest in durable roofing sheets at unbeatable prices. Choose our supply and installation package and enjoy huge savings on your roof. Quality materials, quality prices, quality workmanship. Our name says it all. Built to Last, for roofing that is built to last. We will not be beaten on price. Enjoy free delivery and free roll forming on standing seam and guttering on site. Call us now, 355-7703.
Do you have multiple loans with high installments? Is that weighing you down? Police Credit Union has the solution for you. Merge all your commitments into one manageable payment, affordable interest rate, and a comfortable loan repayment term. Break free from those shackles with our Free Yourself Debt Consolidation Loan. Let PCU be the key to your financial freedom. Apply for a Free Yourself loan today. All loans are subject to normal lending criteria. Police Credit Union, your future is safe with us.
Get the best at Southern Food Basket. Broccoli, $17.95 per pound. Carrots, 3 packs for $19.95. Iceberg lettuce, $19.95 each. Chicken breast tenders, 5 pounds for $149.95. Chicken wings, 1 kg, $34.95. Swiss pasta cuts, 300 grams, 4 for $19.95. Coke, Fanta, Schweppes, Sprite, 2 liters, 2 for $19.95. Available at Southern Food Basket at St. John's Village, Princestown, SS Erin Road, Pinal, Southern Main Road, Point Fortin, Coffee Street, San Fernando.
Alderman Kobe Sandy, he joins me on the Zoom line. He is an alderman in the Point Fortin Borough Council. And as always, Kobe, great to see you. Thanks for the time. And I look forward to the perspective, because I know obviously you're on the ground, and I'd really like to get in real time from you the sentiments in the Southern Peninsula. We're talking here Point Fortin, Erin, Lucero, Cedros, Carcass.
Yes.
What's the kind of energy you're feeling on the ground, especially with the fisher folk and those who gainfully employed with all the happenings there in the ocean?
Yeah, well, I will say that the fear is of dismay, and is real fear among those men and women who depend on the seas for their living. And I mean, when you look at this tension that is now between Trinidad and Tobago, Venezuela, with the U.S. all around, it begs the question as to how would we reach this? I mean, young people always say, how would we reach this? And Trinidad and Tobago has unfortunately entered into a war of words between socialism and capitalism that has been going on, and I don't think will ever end between those two polarized systems. And entering that, unprovoked, raises a lot of red flags for me. You look at those persons in sea dress and in carcass. Those are highly fishing based communities, and they are of course rightly fearful as to what will happen when they go to the seas. And when you have senior government entities in Venezuela saying that this is just a start, you have the defense minister, justice minister, the vice president, and its president warning Trinidad and Tobago to not enter this war, or there will be consequences. How do you expect the common man to feel, especially when they need to brave these waters to feed their families? And we have two MPs, one in Brew, one in Point Fortin, all who are in the government from the unions, and you would think that by virtue of being in the union, that their representation will supersede party politics. We haven't heard from them as to what are the assurances that they can give these men and women, these men who are on these seas and are fearful of what is to take place on the water if they have to go, given the war of words between our government, unfortunately, and that of Venezuela. So this is the sentiment, and I can see a crash in the fishing industry in the Southwest, which will of course have impacts in the country when it comes to fishing and availability of that. You have people saying that they are going to let down their boats because they are literally afraid that they won't come back at all. So we need to get some sort of some advice from the government, because when they were talking and making all the agitation by the Prime Minister herself, they have spectacularly gone mum regarding these fears. So we want to hear from them as to what they're going to do to ease this tension so that, of course, these men can go back to work.
Well, Alderman Sandy, I mean, I grew up in Erin, and I knew from since the 80s into the 90s, there would have been issues in the open waters with the La Guardia Nacional and encroachment and issues of piracy. So I know the waters, it's been a tumultuous place for many years, but obviously now the temperature is at its highest.
High.
But we have to also recognize, I guess, the government's justification, as it were, for supporting the U.S. and the military posturing in these southern seas of the Caribbean is to, as they say, combat drug running and gun smuggling, and I guess it's a law and order. It's more law and order, I imagine, position our government is taking. What's been the talk in that regard in terms of anybody running drugs and guns across the border? Because we know it's been an open sepulchre for many years. Stuff been coming through, as in illegal contraband, drugs, animals, human beings have been smuggling, human trafficking. I mean, it's the works going on sometimes on the southern border. What's been that kind of conversation regarding that enterprise also in the water?
No, of course, Jason, I don't think any right-thinking citizen would disagree that there is a need to combat drug trafficking and narco-terrorism, as said by the Prime Minister herself. But in support of that, what I think should have been the approach of government is to ensure that there are systems in place around our borders to protect us from narco-terrorism and drug trafficking, to increase the capacity within the Coast Guard to protect us from narco-terrorism, to root corruption among agencies that allow trafficking of drugs and so on between our borders. Well, what you have instead is the Prime Minister disregarding the role of CARICOM, disregarding anything regarding law and order and the rule of law by saying kill them violently, by encouraging strikes to be on boats that that is out of law and order, and the Prime Minister is a SC, so I would think that she will understand what natural law is regarding persons allegedly to be carrying drugs and smuggling these kind of things. But when you postulate yourself as to agitate another country without proper evidence, it carries our country in the wrong side of history. You have Grenada, you have Guyana, you have Barbados, all saying that the Caribbean must be a zone of peace, and is preaching that because we cannot sustain the region, our country cannot sustain our Caribbean seas being a violent space. We cannot sustain it.
Yeah.
And therefore, a zone of peace is critical. But then you have our Prime Minister, then you have her ministers, notably Philip Alexander, saying all sorts of scandalous statements that literally, foregoes your intention of ending drug trafficking and narco-terrorism.
Yeah, that is what we call a loose argument. And he himself would have pegged back and had to pat down and more or less kind of apologize for what was deemed a really out of context commentary.
But zone according to the Prime Minister.
Yeah, but I'll tell you this though. Obviously, right now, I mean, we don't want to obviously fearmonger, because as it is, as of today, it's just that military posturing, it's that almost show of might. But worst case scenario, because again, part of the argument is that to bring all that kind of military might to combat drugs, and when the drugs from many who know the drugs trade coming out of South America, vast majority does not come from Venezuela. It comes a little bit further north. I don't want to mention the country to embarrass them like that. We all know. we grew up knowing the news and we watch Netflix, right? Yes. Nonetheless, military might to bring about regime change. To do that, that will call for clearly escalation, some kind of engagement military-wise between Venezuela and the U.S. If God forbid it gets to that, where do we, through your lens, where do we stand in all of that? Your worst case scenario, and then we come back to the best case scenario.
The worst case scenario is that we stand at a point of no return. Venezuela is our closest neighbor, by geography, and if anything is to happen violently in Venezuela between the U.S. and if we are to become a war ally with the U.S., we are now a target, and we have seen it in all of the wars happen in the past. I mean, so we cannot sustain that. The Venezuelan army itself is 30 times greater than that of our regiment, and we cannot, in no sense of the imagination, protect ourselves using our personnel. Our personnel is really meant to help internal affairs more than anything else. And therefore, what is needed is for us to go back to how we have accustomed, dealing with international affairs, which is diplomacy, which is the strength of CARICOM, which is, of course, respecting the sovereign territories and staying out of things that doesn't concern us. What is going on between the U.S. and Venezuela, I am very sure, and we have seen, is greater than this thing called drugs. Venezuela has the highest deposit of reserves in oil, and oil in itself carries global tensions and geopolitical concerns. So that is our concern between Venezuela and the U.S., where we have no reason or need to be in that conversation.
Let me ask you,
be diplomatic, to maintain our security.
What's the relationship like? I know that you, again, as I mentioned, very much on the ground. The Venezuelans who call Trinidad and Tobago home, especially those who live in the Southland, Icacos, Cedros, Irene, Point Fortin and environs, many call their home. Matter of fact, I was on Cedros recently and I pull up thinking it was doubles. It was was he arepa or some kind of was a Venezuelan delicacy.
Yes.
And when I take a sample, so it is delicious. So I recognize that they are part of the community now. What is their community saying about all of this?
Well, I am not too sure what their community is saying, but what I can tell you is that you know, we have a relationship with Venezuela, and that stretches decades. You know, I mean, Paran and the Spanish influence is heavily attributed towards our Venezuelan friends. And, you know, this conflict to be, if it continues this way, can have some damaging effects with those who are already here. And it can increase, you know, how citizens feel with Venezuelans living here, and that internal strife that we may have from time to time. So, you know, it does not speak well to living, you know, the living arrangement that is currently taking place, and it would not augur well if we go into a violent war of words or continue that war of words with Venezuela and ourselves.
I mean, the world is in a very volatile place everywhere.
Yes.
You know, looking at happenings far removed from Trinidad, and the world seems to be hot at this point in time. What do you feel is needed at this point in time to at least cool the temperature? I know you mentioned diplomacy and yes, CARICOM, but do you think that from a leadership standpoint, we need to change? I mean, the Prime Minister already made a position clear. I think as a leader, you kind of stick with your guns. Mm-hmm. But do you think there is still room to change the temperature, change the rhetoric, to change the tenor and tone of this very important development?
Most certainly. And
how does the Prime Minister do that? How do we even start in that regard?
The Prime Minister is very, very experienced, and I think she has a lot of persons in her corner to guide her on. There's a lot of people to guide her on diplomacy and managing international affairs. And I think the Prime Minister needs to come down from wherever she is regarding, you know, her statements on how she views Venezuela and how she's pandering to the U.S. and get back to CARICOM with urgency. CARICOM can, you know, we can only see our way in the international waters with respect for each other and, of course, respect for regional integration, which is done through CARICOM. We have seen it time and time again, where CARICOM as a one unit speaking on the world platform, you know, gets the air of the international players regarding, you know, respect for the Caribbean as a zone of peace. Because, as I said before, the world is in more conflict now since World War II, and there is no need for the Caribbean to be involved in these conflicts and maintaining the Caribbean Sea as a zone of peace. So she needs to get back there and get back there quickly if we want to be on the right side of history going forward. And I also think that you know, she needs to, of course, respect CARICOM. You know, in her first statement, she said she would not be engaged in CARICOM. She needs to relook that quickly and with urgency, because we cannot survive any conflicts without the support of our brothers and sisters in the region.
Alderman Sandy, sincere thanks as always. Let's keep in touch and keep your ears on the ground and give us the latest if there are any new developments in the Southwest. All the best.
Thank you very much, Jason.
That's right. Very important conversation. We're still trying to make sure we get in contact with Austin Jack Warner. Definitely that's a conversation I'm looking forward to as we move our way up to not only 7 but later on 8 o'clock. I'm going the full distance this morning and I'm very happy. Ian will be back with us next week for the morning shot, that in-depth look at sport. So sit back, relax, enjoy. We'll take a quick pause and come back.
At Bagwansing's, Port of Spain and Chaguanas, we are committed to providing quality products for all major building projects. Let's build together with rebars and beams, BRC coils and mats, RHS and angles, roofing sheets and purlins, lumber, plywood and MDF. Bagwansing's, building homes, building communities, building TNT for over 60 years. Bagwansing's, Port of Spain and Chaguanas, building value every day.
Magical Expressions Limited is the largest local importer and distributor of fresh cut stems, offering the widest range of beautiful flowers at the most affordable prices. Call us today at 701-6488, 701-6680, 728-6786, or visit our website to order. We are your one-stop, most convenient, most helpful, most caring community pharmacy. Our pharmaceutical services include dispensing medicines, repeat dispensing, clinical governance, but we also have a fully stocked convenience store featuring our refreshment aisle, grocery lane, personal care products, toys, pet supplies. We are most conveniently located out of the traffic, just 2 minutes off the highway in Heartland Plaza, Endeavour, Chaguanas. Contact us on 220-8705 or 470-5938 and visit us soon.
Millions of people are attacked by harmful mouth bacteria. The root cause of bad breath, gum problems, cavities, plaque, and tartar. That's why Colgate combined the best science and technology in Colgate Total. Unlike others, its superior formula fights bacteria and creates a powerful protective barrier for up to 24 hours to prevent them from coming back. Take control of your oral health with Colgate Total.
Cars, sports, careers, food. Women always talk about these things, but not about our health. Did you know that testosterone is responsible for muscle mass, strength, deep voice, healthy hair growth, and a sex drive? With low testosterone, we may not achieve our potential. The good news is that Jameson Power for Men is an excellent testosterone support. Take Jameson Power for Men and perform to your max. Jameson, here for your health.
Are you tired of the same old boring drive home from work? Look no further. Get ready for the ultimate after-work rush with Freedom 106.5 FM's The Overdrive with Davey. Mondays to Fridays from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Let Davey take you on a thrilling ride of non-stop entertainment and education. He covers the topics of the day, delves into the latest food and lifestyle trends, and brings dynamic guests from exciting professions to share their professional stories and experiences. Take advantage of this energizing and engaging experience. Tune into Freedom 106.5 FM, Mondays to Fridays, 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. for The Overdrive with Davey, the ultimate way to end your day with a bang.
ESP Russell joins me for another important conversation, Police and You, on this Thursday morning. Officer Russell, great to see you.
It's great to be here. Pleasant good morning to Trinidad and Tobago on behalf of the Commissioner of Police, Deputy Commissioners, and First and Second Division Officers of the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service.
Indeed. Well, at least today we are treating with community policing. I saw in the news last night your colleagues in Tobago making their rounds, visiting the schools, engaging with the students on a more community policing level. And I would imagine, this whole concept of community policing, nothing new. It's a phrase we've grown accustomed to. I think it's one of the most important elements to build that bridge between residents and a police station and officers to kind of keep that rapport in a cordial and I would say progressive manner.
Well, you would have described everything about the community policing there. I mean, it means you have a proper grasp and understanding of the community policing. You know, when we talk about the Peelian principles, where Sir Robert Peel said that the people are the police and the police are the people. You know, that community-oriented policing comes together and takes the policing to the community to really help resolve not only just hard crime, but more social issues, the social aspects of crime, such as, you know, the parent who have to go to work and unable to look over their child properly. You know, we step in and have that community fellowship, that community gathering and togetherness, you know, coming together as one community, because every community may have different policing needs and problems. I recently had a town meeting in the Western Division, and you would be surprised to see how many persons living in the same community but have different policing needs. One person find that they wanted more patrols. Another person find that there were persons blocking the pavement with carts and selling burgers. And the woman, one of the people who was there, they are one of the persons who was selling burgers. So she, at the same time, that individual is asking for police presence. And next gentleman, he said he wants us to help them come up with something that identifies their vehicle within their communities, because that individual has had his vehicle wrecked from in front of his own house. You know, so it just focuses on different policing needs. And then when we go to something called like crime prevention through environmental designs, things that like street lights, the need for street lights, because it may have overgrown lots, it will have dark areas, it may have parks that need lighting, because light is a deterrent to crime. Because it starts with an underutilized park without lights, and then the guys start to gather. This now create a cover for them to do illegal activities. So rather than reach down to that, let's just light up the parks.
What happens when your colleagues within the TTPS will have to, let's say, conduct exercise in the community and bring a more hardline approach to policing? Because obviously if you have to effect an arrest or treat with a matter, I guess you have to come in with that particular stern approach. Walk me through the fallout when stuff like that takes place and you come back now to the community to explain what would have transpired.
All right, so let me tell you, if the community policing is done well, then by way of neighborhood watch groups, by way of collaboration between them and us, by way of partnering, we could nip these things in the bud. So there will be no need for the hardline policing, because we could now say, well, we see this particular person's son or daughter going down a particular road, so we could look at the police youth club. We could look at the Hearts and Mind programs. We have things like the station councils. We have things like the town meeting where we go to the community. So if that operates and functions well, we will have very little, if any, need for the hardline policing. However, where there's a need for the hardline policing, because there are some persons who may just be hell-bent on doing what they want, we go in there, we are stern, but we are respectful. Stern, but respectful. We want to respect your rights, treat you with dignity, treat you with respect. This is not about humiliating the individual. You must have an appreciation for what you do. And I'll tell you this, there have been times during my career where I would have arrested persons and they commended me for the way that I treated them.
While effecting the arrest?
While effecting the arrest.
Let me ask you though, is every officer under this community policing umbrella, or is it just certain officers within the charge room would sign up for this? Is this something that is common knowledge in the service?
That's a great question. Now, we do have a community-oriented police section, cops. However, what we try to foster is that every officer must be a community police officer. And it starts simple thing as with your customer service. Because just implementing the aspects of customer service, indirectly or directly, you are indeed exercising the tenets of community policing. Just in how you display yourself, how you speak to the person, your mannerism, your tone, your pitch, your volume, your rhythm, of how you communicate and disseminate your information, or that interaction between you and that individual that comes to your station to make that report or whatever.
Understood. I mean, it's not been my experience. I mean, I've had nothing but respectful interactions with the officers, but obviously there are many who say that the interaction leaves much to be desired. Sometimes the officers come in very sharp. They approach a bit stern, a little too stern. And I guess there's that kind of back and forth, and things kind of go downhill from there, unfortunately.
Well, let me give the public some advice, right? I know at times we may be emotional because we're also human beings. But I would tell you this, Jason. We need to start with ourselves first, as the police and as the public. So a taxi driver wants to drive down the shoulder and find the police mustn't tell them anything. And then Trinidad and Tobago has this way they like to categorize crime. So you stop him for driving on the shoulder, and I'm just drawing an example. You stop him for driving on the shoulder, and his first thing is, why you gonna run down the real criminal men killing people out there? Where were you last night when I get robbed? Of course, when you start with that tone, some police officers may respond in a like manner. No, yes, we are professionals and we should not descend into the arena. However, we are human beings first. And at times we do get it wrong, and I apologize to everybody in Trinidad and Tobago who would have feel that way or would have been spoken down to by a police officer.
I appreciate that. That's first time I really hear you accept that well, accountability really, and because I mean, as you say, and the officers come from the community too, so we have to remember that. But I want to ask you this though before we wrap up. We have literally about 2 minutes. I'm watching all the developments with the top brass, with the leaking, as it were, of certain information, the tension or the perceived tension. What's the feeling right now with the top brass? What's the mood within the upper echelons of the service?
Well, let me tell you firstly, my organization is a rank-based organization where discipline is one of the most important things. We are not about getting into our feelings. And I know you are speaking about the leave incident. Most of us would have acquired leave above the threshold. I have approximately 5 months leave. I mean, and I am trying to take steps to reduce same, but not only just that, but mental health issues is something very important as well. So we want to encourage persons, But then when you look at it, we have a couple of SOEs where leave is restricted and stuff like that. But our organization, though we may have our differences, is still one Trinidad and Tobago police service. People say teeth and tongue would clash from time to time, but it's one Trinidad and Tobago police service. So there is no tension as far as I know. There's no tension, there's a oneness, and every now and then, any good manager who runs an organization and responsible for distribution and redistribution of his human resources could do that, just that.
Understood. Thanks a lot for the candor. As always, the police and youth segment, Officer Russell touching base. God spare we'll get a chance to do it again next week, that first Thursday in October. All right, until what I can say next week. Yeah, next week. Yes, until next week. We get it ready for the 7 a.m. news update. Much more after 7. See you soon.
Good morning and welcome. I'm Jesse Ramdale with headline news here on CNC3 and the TBC Radio Network. Former Tobago House of Assembly Chief Secretary Hotor Charles was named among 3 recipients of the nation's highest award, the Order of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. Charles, who served as Tobago's first Chief Secretary from 1996 to 2001, was known for his strong defense of Tobago's autonomy and his outspoken style of leadership. Yesterday, Tobagonians said the honor was long overdue.
I think it's long overdue. I think Hotor's contribution to Tobago is well known to all, probably matched by probably only 1 or 2 other persons. And I think that one of the problems that we have in this country is that we politicize stuff like awards function when it should be given for work.
In other news, the police service has officially launched its school-oriented policing unit in Tobago, beginning with visits to Mason Hall Secondary and Signal Hill Secondary. The announcement came from Zorisha Hackett, Secretary of Education, Research and Technology. Senior police officials oversaw the visits, which highlighted collaboration between assigned officers, MTS Security and the school's health and safety officers. The partnership aims to support principals and teachers, strengthen discipline and create safer learning environments for students. The police presence is intended to provide additional support to principals in addressing student indiscipline through non-lethal and constructive interventions. And Minister in the Ministry of Housing, Philip Alexander, has taken to social media to reaffirm his support for Prime Minister Kamla Persad-Bissessar. It comes after he was reprimanded for his controversial remarks about Venezuela. In a post on Facebook yesterday, Alexander stated, quote, "Big men take their missteps as learning opportunities. Ego is for kids. I support Kamla Persad-Bissessar 100%, end quote. The Prime Minister had distanced the government from his comments after Alexander suggested India might use nuclear weapons to defend Trinidad and Tobago's East Indian population. He later admitted he had no information of any Indian intervention and called his statements hyperbolic, saying the country is well protected. Venezuela's Vice President Delcy Rodriguez condemned Alexander's remarks, calling him a pawn of the United States. Before leaving for the United Nations, Persad-Bissessar distanced the government from Alexander. Well, those were 7 AM News headlines. We'll have another news update at 8 AM on the TBC Radio Network.
Get the best at Southern Food Basket. Gala apples, 10 for $20. Garlic, $9.95 per pound. Lentils, 2 pounds, $13.95. Split peas, 2 pounds, $7.95. No-name bathroom tissue, 24s, 2 bales, $89.95. Fiesta peas and carrots, 3 for $19.95. Fiesta dry pigeon peas, 3 for $23.95. Richport oil, 3 liters, $39.95. Available at Southern Food Basket at St. Charles Village, Princesstown, SS Erin Road, Pinal, Southern Main Road, Point Fortin, Coffee Street, San Fernando.
Need to upgrade to a better phone system? Contact the experts at Voice Outsourcing. In office or remote, our phone system allows you to take every call. Grow your bottom line by offering excellent customer service. Call 217-1895 or 628-8182 or email today.
Welcome to Holiday Inn Express and Suites.
Do enjoy, Stacey. You want some coffee?
Can I have the
Perfect then.
That's exactly what we need.
Hey, the pool is this way.
Whatever you're here for, we're here for you. Stay smart at the Holiday Inn Express and Suites.
Great deals with PRW. Save big with laptops starting from $3,100. Sky 7-inch tablet only $465. Need a printer? We've got it. Starting from $625. Get a 40-inch RCA TV only at $1,850. 19.5-inch LG monitor $699. Secure your home with our security combo starting from $3,000. Call PRW today.
Recession have you down? Don't lose hope. Head on down to Tire Clinic for the recession deals. That should big savings with our road hazard warranty on Dunlop, Semi-Tom-1, Falcon tires. Available at Tire Clinic, Cuba, Chaguanas, and Pleasance Park. Tire Clinic, a tire for every need. Call 636-8973 or 636-2958.
Energize your performance and win big with Jameson's Power Play for Health. Buy any Jameson product at your local pharmacy for a chance to win a grand prize of $5,000. Enter by submitting your receipt online or in the marked entry boxes in stores. Also enjoy instant prizes through exciting in-store games. Visit at Jameson TV on IG and Facebook or check in stores for full details on how to enter. Jameson, here for your health.
Are you tired of the same old boring drive home from work? Look no further. Get ready for the ultimate after-work rush with Freedom 106.5 FM's The Overdrive with Davey. Mondays to Fridays from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Let Davey take you on a thrilling ride of non-stop entertainment and education. He covers the topics of the day, delves into the latest food and lifestyle trends, and brings dynamic guests from exciting professions to share their professional stories and experiences. Take advantage of this energizing and engaging experience. Tune into Freedom 106.5 FM, Mondays to Fridays, 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. for The Overdrive with Davey, the ultimate way to end your day with a bang.
Welcome to hour number 2 on this Thursday. That's right, let's get into our mental health matters. Johansi Arodike to start off this second hour. And as always, Johansi, great to see you. Good morning.
Good morning, Jason. Good morning to everybody here.
You're asking the usual question, are you really tired? That's a question I ask myself. Many ask themselves. Yeah, people are. I could answer that, you answer yes. There are people who are very tired, mentally, physically, emotionally. People just tired. You answer. It's a lot folks have to treat and deal with in this modern time. What's the angle this morning?
All right. Well, let me ask you, what's your definition of tired? When you say tired, what do you mean by that? What is tiredness?
You just, you're weary. You need to detach from everything, pull away from the noise, go into a quiet space and just rest up, especially physically and mentally.
All right. Well, let me tell you why. Because why I even went into this, because there was a morning that I was heading to the office and I started feeling tired, and it didn't make sense because I slept well, I ate well, I exercised. I left home with a certain amount of energy. So then I started doing some research on tiredness and different kinds of tiredness. And first, I thought it was, okay, I wake up in the morning, I have 100 out of 100. Let's give an example in terms of physical energy. And as I do stuff for the day, I burn energy, I do things. And by evening time, I have 10 out of 100, 0 out of 100. So I sleep, I'm feeling tired. But the research showed that a lot of tiredness is actually mental and emotional. And one major factor to tiredness is doing things you don't really want to do.
Oh, so sometimes just the job itself or the environment, go in there, even though you're well rested, because you're you have to kind of psych up yourself to go into the space, you start to feel tired.
You see, when you say psych up yourself, it means that because you say going into the environment, but sometimes just even thinking about the environment, you start to feel tired. Just thinking about doing something you don't really want to do, you start to feel tired, or let's call it a loss of energy, a loss of will, a loss of zeal. Mm-hmm. And if you continue doing this for an extended period of time, then you just have the loss of, I just don't want to do anything. I just don't feel doing anything.
That come like almost the body's natural reaction to, it's like you're rejecting the circumstance you're in, so you just start to feel tired.
Yes, perfect, because naturally or reflexively, our body, which includes our mind, our brain, built for survival, right? And if your mind cannot fathom or analyze that the activity you're about to do is in your benefit, right? And it's not only about life or death, but it's in your benefit, then it protects itself by making you tired. So that could be an indicator, this situation, this person, this relationship, this whatever it is not for me, because when I go into it, I'm feeling tired, or just even thinking about it, I feel tired.
So what about those who, they go home and you have children, young children, and you just, the children want to play or they want to talk, and there are many parents who, when they reach home, they go into bed. They're trying to unwind. I've always heard that sleeping a lot or trying to just be in your bed a lot is a kind of sign of probably depression or just a little mental gymnastics you're dealing with at the point in time. You just want to sleep it out.
Well, in terms of, let's use parents, right? And I am not a parent, so I'm not coming from the state of knowing, but in terms of the clients who I have, in terms of parents and even my own parents, is that yes, you love your children, you want to be with your children, but you may not want to be with them 24 hours. You may not want to do the things they want to do at the time. Sometimes they may need a rest before doing it. And let's use parents, let's use teachers, let's use husband and wife, let's use any type of intimate relationship. Yes, you may love that person, but you may not want to be with them all the time or do certain things. And I'm putting it that way because you should be also honest with yourself about it so that you could put the necessary things in place, even if it's to take a 5-minute nap so that you are ready, or have a conversation with the person or in the situation to let them know exactly how you're feeling about it so you can change the parameters of how you feel.
And there's no reason to beat up yourself because that's okay, right?
Yeah. There's no reason because even if you have a job or a profession or something you love, doesn't mean you want to do that all the time, right? And it's okay to say, you know what, I need to take a break from this. I need to pull away from this. I need to do something because then you will start to not like it. You'll start to resent the very thing, the person or the situation that you like if you continue forcing yourself into it.
Mm-hmm. Tiredness, boy. What about, relationship-wise, or as we say in local parlance at a banker, most times we go through any kind of breakup, any kind of emotional downfall. People kind of, they stay in bed a lot, huh? That's a moment where you really, what's the cause of, you feel lackluster, there's no energy, there's no zeal, no momentum at all. Just want to sleep and sometimes eat snacks.
Sometimes eat snacks.
Sometimes, not all the time.
Those symptoms and manifestations most times of not wanting to face reality. However you perceive the reality, let's say if it's a breakup, the reality is so painful for you, how you perceive it, is that you don't want to deal with it. So you eat your snacks, you feel good about it, you take a drink, you forget about it, you go and do something like you forget about it, you sleep. Of course, you're not in the reality, so quote unquote, you forget about it, you're avoiding it. So it's a symptom of not wanting to face reality, and I would say nothing wrong with that in small doses, because coping mechanisms, we all have coping mechanisms, and coping mechanisms are there when the issue is too intense, so you just need a little break. But staying in a coping mechanism for too long, that's where the issue arises.
And that's why I want to kind of ask you now to elaborate on as we come towards the end of the conversation. If you're tired all the time, you're just in that perpetual mood of tiredness, or zone of tiredness, you're just tired with your family, tired with work, even fun things. You know, you reach, you ever go a lime, you want to say, and the lime going sweet and somebody just, they fall up in the lime. You know, we having conversation and somebody just fall up like I don't know if it's that you're pushing yourself too much. What do you say to that person this morning who's just forever tired?
Stop. That's my first thing. Stop and analyze, because you're doing something you don't want to do. And most times, you don't even need much analysis. I could ask that question to anybody. Tell me something that you're doing that you don't want to do, and things come to your mind immediately. So I would tell you stop. Or if you can't stop, let's say it's a job, you can't just quit your job just like that. You start putting things in place. You might be in a relationship. You don't want to just leave the relationship. Start to have that conversation with the person. You have children and you're feeling fed up with the children, but you're feeling guilty. You don't even want to admit that. Maybe start putting other methods in place. Maybe change up your schedule with how you're dealing with your children. But the point is, you have to stop, because if you continue like this, you will break right down.
You want to say again, sincere thanks. Final say as we wrap things up.
Nation, don't do anything you don't want to do, because you will start to feel the tiredness of it. Don't make life complicated. Because even though life is not easy, it's really not that hard. Thank you for listening.
You want to say great conversation this morning. Have a great one, and God's spare, we'll touch base again next week. Yes, Johan say IODK, Mental Health Matters, every single Thursday. As mentioned, I'm going with you until 8 o'clock this morning, and we were supposed to touch base inside the first hour, but I suspect we have way more time to get into all the happenings, unpack the layers. It's been quite a while. It's been years, as a matter of fact, since I had a chance to touch base with Austin Jack Warner. He joins me next on the Zoom line. Jack Warner on the Morning Brew. Next.
My name is Kyron Pollard, and I approve this message.
World-renowned cricketer Kyron Pollard.
I've been playing cricket for most of my life, and I don't know what it feels like to wake up and not be sore. If Omega XL works for me, it will work for you.
Don't let pain stop you from living your life. Chronic inflammation equal pain and disease. Reduce inflammation, reduce pain.
Omega XL can empower you to keep doing what you love. Don't let joint discomfort hold you back.
Live long, stay strong with the XL brand.
Visit your local pharmacy or health food store today.
Ready to discover the tastiest spots in Trinidad and Tobago? Restaurant Week is here from September 26th to October 5th with 100 participating restaurants across Trinidad and Tobago. We've got culinary experiences for every craving without draining your wallet, with prices starting at just $175 TT, all taxes included. Don't miss out. Head to our website and social media pages to explore menus and plan all your food adventures. Come for the food. Stay for the flavor.
Millions of people are attacked by harmful mouth bacteria. The root cause of bad breath, gum problems, cavities, plaque, and tartar. That's why Colgate combined the best science and technology in Colgate Total. Unlike others, its superior formula fights bacteria and creates a powerful protective barrier for up to 24 hours to prevent them from coming back. Take control of your oral health with Colgate Total.
Do you have multiple loans with high installments? Is that weighing you down? Police Credit Union has the solution for you. Merge all your commitments into one manageable payment, affordable interest rate, and a comfortable loan repayment term. Break free from those shackles with our Free Yourself Debt Consolidation Loan. Let PCU be the key to your financial freedom. Apply for a Free Yourself loan today. All loans are subject to normal lending criteria. Police Credit Union, your future is safe with us.
Things don't always go as expected. Be ready with Trinry for auto, home, business and group life. Call us at 800-TRIN or visit trinry.com today. Huge insurance premium. Pay your premiums bit by bit with FlexiPay from Trinry. For more manageable auto, home and commercial insurance payments, call us at 800-TRIN or visit trinry.com today. Trinry. Premier insurance coverage for less.
Science calls it AMPK, your body's built-in system for burning fat, balancing blood sugar, and fueling energy. Berberine Plus naturally supports AMPK, helping you feel better, live better, be better. Available at Pennywise and leading pharmacies nationwide. Berberine Plus, powerful results naturally.
Some of us like to test limits, but there won't always be second chances. Obey the speed limits. Maybe you don't value your life, but others value theirs. A message from the TTPS.
A man who, in terms of his career and work years, so many different caps, former teacher at Polytechnic, former FIFA vice president, former member of parliament, former minister, former political leader. So many accolades over the years, and indeed we get a chance to touch base with Austin Jack Warner. Here with me on the Zoom line, it's been quite a while. I remember the very first conversation we had years ago in another place. I mentioned, well, it's JW, touching base with JW, and he reminded me, he told me in no uncertain terms, you are the original, and I concur because, yeah, you know, you're Jack Warner.
That's correct. That's correct. You are correct.
That's correct.
Yes.
How are you, Mr. Warner? It's been quite a while. We didn't get a chance to touch base, and of course, with the developments recently, that cloud of extradition and stuff over your head for so many years. What's your feeling at this point in time this morning?
Well, JW, I feel extremely relieved. It has been a long journey, 10 years. Has been a long fight. 15 lawyers employed by the state. 7 of them are silk. 2 of them are foreigners. 15 of them for 10 years went after me to try to get me to be extradited. And in the end, ultimately, they have failed. And I want to thank my legal team, especially Fayed Hussein, Senior Counsel, Vichy Das, Sasha Bijmohan Singh, Anil Maraj, and Adam Hussein. All of them collectively burnt the midnight oil for 10 years to make sure that justice prevails.
Was there any point you thought you would have been nabbed? You thought that, on any given day, they could have come to your premises or meet you? I know you normally play a little, I think it's darts or something, then Aruka was here. All fours, right? You're all fours man. You ever went out and imagined that you wouldn't be able to go home? You'll be nabbed at any point in time?
For sure, and even though that the matter has been permanently stayed, there's still this feeling that you can be nabbed at any point in time. I mean, the situation in which we live, and it is not, well, it's not, of course, to say that it can't happen. It can happen anytime. But at the end of the day, I put my faith in God and say, well, God will guide me and protect me.
When we consider so much that would have transpired, especially in your FIFA days, and that documentary that featured on Netflix, FIFA Uncovered, it really didn't make many of the top brass of FIFA. It didn't look good. It didn't look good for Sepp Blatter. It didn't look good for Chuck Blazer. It didn't look good for yourself. What was your take on that particular expose, as it were, and the implications on your legacy and your image at the point in time?
You see, the whole thing stemmed from the fact that the U.S. did not win the bid for the World Cup. I supported, and I say this up to today, I supported Qatar for getting it because I felt that it's time that we move from the big countries and give a small country a chance, a Muslim country, a country that had the potential to do a good event. And I, though my office was in New York, though my secretary was an American, I went against them and supported Qatar. And that's where it all started. And all this you hear about bribery and so on, is a lot of foolish talk, because at the end of the day, when you're in FIFA, you don't need to take a bribe in FIFA. You are given the best ever. You travel first class all over the world. You travel with your spouse. All this is paid for. You will give them a very fat daily allowance. So where's the bribe? Where's the bribe? But all these things have been concocted by them so as to undermine the whole structure of FIFA, which at the time was the most powerful body in the world, bigger than the UN. And today they are struggling to regain that ground, and I wish them well.
There was so much swirling around. There was, I remember I went earlier this year to a funeral and I saw your son, your youngest son. And I remember, we have always had good rapport. And there was this talk that your sons couldn't come to Trinidad. Well, of course, there was a talk that, of course, you'll be nabbed at any point in time.
That's right. And they even said they had an anklet, bracelet on the ankles and so on. They said all kinds of things. The media has been so unkind.
Well, let's set the record straight this morning. Tell us what is true from what is just fairy tale.
In terms of what?
In terms of all what we would have heard over the years. So that never was the case, because there was this talk that they would have been arrested and they couldn't travel to Trinidad and all that kind of stuff.
They were involved in the matter insofar as I had given them some funds to put in their account. And that of course sparked, in fact, that made them, as the US would say, made them an accessory to the crime that they perceived that I committed. And therefore they couldn't travel to the country unless they got permission, which they sometimes would get, sometimes would be denied. And until this matter came to rest earlier this year, and they are back home now for good, and it's behind them, and everything is of course settled, I am okay. And the same for me.
Were you able to see, what was the longest period where you were not able to physically see your sons during all this legal battle?
I can't tell exactly, but it will be a couple of years. I think it's a couple of years as well.
And what toll did that take on you? I mean, obviously, these are your sons. You can, yes, you can see them on Zoom, you could talk to them on the phone, but to hold them, to physically touch them.
Well, they will come from time to time, as I said, and we will, of course, interact. But when they do come, we will make up for lost time, so to speak. Listen, the amount of torture I went through, both in terms of my family and the way they have been treated, the way I have been denied in society. Banks closed my accounts overnight. Banks that were struggling and begging me for business overnight became my enemies. My friends, who I used to call my friends, overnight went underground. My reputation was sullied and tarnished and destroyed, literally. My businesses lost. I mean, I have gone through torture, I think, second to Christ, in a sense. Because what they did to me, just for what we did in FIFA, what they did to me, the authorities did to me, is, I mean, painful. And what is more important for me, JW, is that these 15 lawyers who tried to get me out of here were all paid for by the state. The state paid 15 lawyers. The U.S. wanted me out of the country, but the U.S. never paid a cent, not a single nickel in court. This state here, this government here, employed 15 people, some of the highest ever, like Lewis and them in England and so on, to get me out of here. No, why? What have I done? What did I do to deserve this? Up to now, I'm telling you again, it is foolishness. There was no bribery, there is no racketeering, there is no extortion. It is foolishness. And that is the end of the matter.
Mr. Warner, let me ask you, because I know you mentioned, and it will be still very much fresh in your mind, those who would have turned their back in your time of need, and you being a man who would have helped so many people, giving you the name Uncle Jack. Yep. Many would have called you that for years. You would have.
I still do.
Right, and Uncle Jack, you know, because they call you that because you would have, you would have. I mean, through in your personal capacity and when you were a minister, assisted so many. Who would have been there with you in your darkest time? Who was there with you from the time all this started to now? They never turned their back on you. They always remained loyal to the cause, despite all the allegations on what was happening in the public domain.
I don't want to call names, but I know that my family stood behind me firmly. Some members of my staff up to today have stuck with me firmly, and one or two of my political friends stood with me. But the rank and file, I won't call names, the rank and file turned their backs, they fled, they ran underground. And today, these same people are now calling me and behaving as if, of course, we were chummy for the past 10 years. And I smile, I say, hello, thank you, I'm happy, no problem, and so on. In this country, in real democracies, JW, you are innocent until proven guilty. But in Trinidad and Tobago, you are guilty until proven innocent. And even then, after you're proven innocent, you're still guilty. That's the nature of the country we live in.
Yeah. What's your role within the whole political life and cycle right now? I mean, obviously, during the campaign, we saw you was there. Yeah, you would have, made yourself available in terms of physically showing up. The offer Center of Excellence as always to
That's right, and I helped some candidates. I walked with them, I talked, I helped to sponsor some of their events.
Right.
Where I could have put in some finances, I did put in, because I felt that this country needed a change as never before. And I make no apologies for saying that, and possibly that is part of the reason why I was harassed the way I was. But I really felt the country needed a change, and today it has happened. I keep in touch with one or two of the ministers and the politicians, but by and large, I have taken a back seat and I'm looking on.
So you're not pulling any strings from behind the curtain? You're not making any moves?
I let my newspaper speak for me. Sunshine Today is where I get my joy, my pleasure for conducting the nation's business in the newspapers. But I'm not pulling any strings anywhere.
Let me ask you, who initiated the healing between yourself and Prime Minister Kamala Persad-Bissessar? Because we know when you all were at odds, it was one of the most brutal in terms of verbal attacks. I mean, we won't go back into what was said on both sides, but it was bitter. Who initiated that healing?
We both made mistakes. Mrs. Persad-Bissessar and I made mistakes, and of course, I think from where I sit, I have expressed regret over them. And as such, I have no bitterness of any kind, none whatsoever, against any member of the government.
No, I'm glad you made peace, but who made the call first? Who initiated that healing mass, as it were? She called you, you called her? How did it went down?
I can't remember exactly, but I know that some calling took place, but I can't remember exactly if it was from my side or her side or somebody outside.
Was it an easy, did you all address the past, or was it just, you were able to just move on?
Mrs. Persad-Bissessar is one of the most forgiving persons I know. And equally, I'm one of the most forgiving persons there is in this country. So there was this mutuality of feeling that, of course, we both have made errors, mistakes, and let's bury the past. And that is why I went to the lengths I went to get the government changed.
Yeah, indeed. What keeps you busy these days, Mr. Warner? What's your daily routine like? Because I know you would have held meetings all 4 in the morning. You were one of the hardest working men.
I still wake up at in fact, I wake up at 2 in the morning now. I do some work for the papers until 4. From 4 to 5, I walk every morning, and 5:30 I leave home to come to the office. So my hours have not changed. The demands on me are not as great as before, but I still make sure that I'm up very early and I move about. There are some ministers in government I say good morning to, and we chat very early, and there are 1 or 2 of them who I would send messages to and they wouldn't answer me, but that's okay. That's all right. I have no problem with that. But there are 1 or 2 of them who I still interact with at the highest level.
You know, from your early days in Chaguanas to your days at Polytechnic, being a teacher, to being in charge of the Trinidad and Tobago football, moving on to being in charge of CONCACAF, to being the vice president of FIFA, to getting into active politics, your life has been nothing short of a movie. We could write a book and it would be a bestseller. But from through your lens, through your eyes, your own lived reality, when your name is mentioned 50 years, 100 years from now, and we look in the archives of Trinidad and Tobago, what you believe is the legacy of Austin Jack Warner?
I can't say really, because I said this is a strange country, but I think one of the things they can't take away from me is the fact that I took the smallest nation at the time to the biggest stage on earth in Germany in 2006. And that is something they can't take away whatever I do. They can't take away the fact that I was the person who brought Mandela to this country for a week when the whole world was asking for Mandela to appear at various times and so on. I was able to bring him here for a week to meet the government and the people of this country. They can't take that away from me. I know something, JW. When we qualified for the World Cup, and the president at the time was New Hassan Ali, and he called the team to the President House for a reception and a medal and so on. He didn't call me, but I'm not heard. When Mr. Manning had the team and he gave them awards and so on and what have you, they didn't invite me, So I am not telling you that I have gone through this a long time. What my legacy is, I don't know, but I know 2 things they can't take away from me. One is the World Cup qualification that I spoke about just now, and two, the fact that I was able to help to change a government at various points in time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I could say as we wrap things up, history and the historians will have to make that decision. But if it's one thing...
That's right.
If it's one thing, though, the corridors of this country, and by extension the region and football, will always remember Jack Warner. Trust me, you've made your mark, Mr. Warner, and I want to thank you for coming on. Any closing remarks?
Before you go, though, I want to tell you that I took every rock, every small country in the Caribbean, and made them a member of FIFA. Being a member of FIFA meant, we're getting $1 million over a 4-year period to help build their football. I brought in 25 countries into CONCACAF, and CONCACAF today has 35 countries. 35 countries, and the 25 countries in CONCACAF for the Caribbean could not find a single person to put as CONCACAF president, but a Canadian, Italian. So this for me is also painful, because the legacy I left in the Caribbean, and especially the Caribbean Football Union, that I thought that would have continued. Where is Jamaica? Where is Trinidad and Tobago? Where is Antigua? How come we don't have there's a lack of leadership in the CONCACAF in the Caribbean? I would like to get some answers for that, DW.
Mr. Warner, as always, sincere thanks. I hope we'll get a chance to touch base again. Be a regular man. Come on the program, man. We look forward to the
No problem at all. No problem at all.
All the best.
Thank you very much. Thank you, man. Thanks.
You're most welcome. Austin Jack Warner. It's been a minute. We had a chance to touch base, and yeah, that's right. So definitely great conversation, and thank you for standing by to listen in. Let's take the pause. We come back much more as we work our way to 8 o'clock.
Tile Depot Diwali sale on now. Stunning floors at dazzling prices. 12 by 12, $750. 17 by 17, $975. 18 by 18, $995. 20 by 20, $15.95. And 22 by 22, only $20. Visit Tile Depot Limited today at Banny Chase Village. Call 234-4402.
It's the funniest comedy, rated 10 out of 10. You don't leave foul to watch Corn. Now hits the Central Bank Auditorium on Saturday the 27th of September at 8:30 p.m. and Sunday 28th at 6:30 p.m. before heading to Sapa San Fernando on October 4th and 5th. It's the best show of 2025. You don't leave foul to watch Corn. September 27th and 28th at Central Bank Auditorium and October 4th and 5th at Sapa. Call 481-2185 for further information. You don't leave foul to watch Corn. Who does that?
Great deals with PRW. Save big with laptops starting from $3,100. Sky 7-inch tablet only $465. Need a printer? We've got it. Starting from $625. Get a 40-inch RCA TV only at $1,850. 19.5-inch LG monitor $699. Secure your home with our security combo starting from $3,000. Call PRW today.
Get the best at Southern Food Basket. Broccoli, $17.95 per pound. Carrots, 3 packs for $19.95. Iceberg lettuce, $19.95 each. Chicken breast tenders, 5 pounds for $149.95. Chicken wings, 1 kg, $34.95. Swiss pasta cuts, 300 grams, 4 for $19.95. Coke, Fanta, Schweppes, Sprite, 2 liters, 2 for $19.95. Available at Southern Food Basket at St. Charles Village, Princestown, SS Aaron Road, Pinal, Southern Main Road, Point Fortin, Coffee Street, San Fernando.
Need to upgrade to a better phone system? Contact the experts at Voice Outsourcing. In office or remote, our phone system allows you to take every call. Grow your bottom line by offering excellent customer service. Call 217-1895 or 628-8182 or email today.
Okay, I see you. Okay, let me see you, Cherry Hill. Yeah, now take it back. Let me see you rock off, shake off, shake off. Let me see you rock off, rock off. Let me see you kick right, now kick left, now step forward, now step back. Lucasade, bring the energy.
For those who try Omega XL and they say it didn't work, try it again.
Whatever I was using, this Omega is the best. Remember, you deserve the best. Choose Omega XL, a supplement that I can assure you is committed to helping you live a long life and a strong life.
Live long, stay strong
with Omega XL.
Available nationwide. Visit your local pharmacy or health food store today.
Visit Tire Clinic Marketing, New Truck and OTR Tire Service Center at number 30 and 32 Montrose Main Road, Chabonas. Call today at 665-8973 or 672-3419. Alignment services available. Tire Clinic Marketing, Truck and OTR Service Center. A tire for every need.
Some of us like to test limits, but there won't always be second chances. Obey the speed limits. Maybe you don't value your life, but others value theirs. A message from the TTPS.
Sportsmanship is when an athlete walks off the court and you can't tell if he won or lost because he carries himself with pride either way. This quote is an embodiment of sport, and for me, sport is an embodiment of life. We are where you are.
Get the story first. Want to know what's happening in news, sports, or crime? Get the CNC3 app. As the story breaks, CNC3 is there giving you the story first on your mobile device. Be connected to the most trusted and reliable news source, CNC3. Access your world with just a tap. The CNC3 app. Download it today.
Welcome as we get into a very important discussion. I'm joined by the Vice President and President of the Health and Nutrition Association of Trinidad and Tobago. We are dealing with a very important conversation, one that impacts women, PCOS, breaking the silence, understanding PCOS, and we welcome Dr. Brittany Dean, Second Vice President, great to see you.
Nice to see you again.
Always a pleasure. And Nandani Samuel, president of HNATT.
Yes.
Yes. President Samuel, I want to start with you, Nandani, to just give us a little overview as to the organization, the association, how long now you've been around, and the kind of service you'll provide to women across the length and breadth of Trinidad and Tobago.
Right, so HNA, good morning everyone. So HNATT is the Health and Nutrition Association. We have been around since last year November, so we are an NGO, non-profit organization, and our main goal is to try to reduce the prevalence of chronic diseases in our country. So we have been doing health fairs across the country, talks, wellness talks, symposiums and all of that. So over the past year, we have done probably over 40-something health fairs already.
Yeah, and it's important because PCOS, you'll be in a little line, and people getting candid and getting open, and sometimes women will open up, and you hear of sometimes the challenges when it comes to fertility if someone is treating and dealing with PCOS. So just walk us through that, Dr. Dean.
So PCOS stands for polycystic ovary syndrome. It is actually a hormonal disorder. It's actually one of the most common hormonal disorders, and in fact 1 in 7 women in Trinidad actually suffer with PCOS. And a lot of people tend to think that it's only a reproductive issue, but it tends to affect your body holistically. It tends to affect all systems. So it goes into your blood sugar regulation, your heart health, even your mental well-being. Earlier on, you had somebody talking about mental health and mental well-being, and we do see being fatigued and tired being one of the symptoms that women do experience, as well as that hormonal imbalance that just impacts the entire body as well. And many women, unfortunately, are misdiagnosed, or they may not even know that they're suffering with PCOS. And that's why it's important for us to have this educational talk and to have all these seminars surrounding PCOS so women can become aware of their symptoms, women can feel seen, they can feel heard, and they can even be empowered to make the changes on a daily basis that will help mitigate the symptoms that come with PCOS.
And I'll give you a chance to elaborate some more on it, but I want to bring President Nandani in as to what's, based on your going around on the workshops and your health caravans since last November to now.
Yeah.
What's the age really of engagement? Because this can impact what girls as early as their teens, late teens?
Yes, correct.
Serious?
Yes, so over the past couple of years, well, we have started HNATT, I said a year ago, but being a dietitian over 7 years now. And what I've seen is that it's not just the older women or women in their 30s or 40s, it's the young ones as well. So as early as 12 years old, sometimes they are diagnosed. And they come to you, and the first thing persons tell them, well, why don't you lose weight? But how do you lose weight if you don't know how? Because it's a hormonal disorder as well, and it affects you so much. Losing weight may be difficult. That is why something like this that we are having is important.
And I'm glad you mentioned that, because again, this is me just asking based on conversations, just listening in, not having the scientific or the medical knowledge to explain or to understand it, but I've always heard of bloating being a part of that experience. Where does the bloating come in?
So bloating is something that we all experience on a daily basis, and that can come from the things that we eat to the way that our body processes certain things. And especially for a woman going through PMS, that time of the month, bloating is a symptom that we do experience.
Something that happens naturally.
Yes, that is something that happens naturally. Now, the problem comes when that bloating happens on a daily basis or it is very chronic. And bloating is something that we do see in PCOS because it is one of those side-by symptoms that we will see women experiencing because of the hormonal imbalances and irregularities, but it's not something that we will use to diagnose PCOS.
So as you mentioned, hormonal imbalance. Could PCOS alter somebody's mood? Could somebody be a bit snappy because of this particular, they present with PCOS?
Yes, definitely. So like I said, PCOS is not just limited to our reproductive systems. PCOS spans the entire body. And because of hormonal imbalances, and when I look at hormonal imbalances, women with PCOS, they tend to have high amounts of androgens. Now, androgens are male hormones, and they are going to get more male-related symptoms. For example, hair growth on the face. They may get more acne. All of these things come with PCOS. And when we look at the mental health aspect of things, they're going to experience irritability, frustration more than the average person. And remember, with all these physical symptoms also comes that feeling of not wanting to be seen by the public. So anxiety, depression, all of these things also accompany PCOS.
I want to bring President Nandani back in to elaborate some more on the diet part of it and what can be done in terms of adjustment of the diet to at least start the process to peg it back, as it were.
Right, so a lot of women think that, it's a one-size-fits-all and they go on the same sort of dietary regime, but each woman is different, especially as it pertains to the signs and symptoms. Some of them may not even face those signs and symptoms. Some of them even face more than that. So it all comes down to balancing the hormones, and how you do that, you balance your meals better. Some persons even skip meals a lot, so that's something we don't recommend as dietitians. Skipping meals actually messes with the metabolism, makes the bloating and stuff even worse. So we try to just follow a holistic approach, yes, with diet and lifestyle combined, but also you want to try as much as possible to decrease processed foods and food additives and stuff that would increase the signs and symptoms that they face. So it's really to try. So on Sunday, what we are going to be doing is going through everything in detail so that they understand. Persons can ask their questions and get the proper answers, have proper medical insights that they are able to follow moving forward.
And I'm seeing Sunday from 2 to 5 p.m.?
Yes.
Give me the location, and how is it a walk-in, or you have to make a little reservation in advance?
So we have a registration process. It is at Guardian Life Building in Westmoreland, directly next to West Mall. And it's from 2 to 5 p.m. So you can access us on HNATT as on our Instagram or Facebook. There is a registration link, and you fill out the form. The cost to attend is $300, or you could attend online as well for $150. Yeah.
Understood. In terms of medical intervention, if it becomes really severe, is this one that calls for surgery?
So surgery can be an option if it gets down to if lifestyle fails, lifestyle in terms of diet and exercise, if the medical pharmaceuticals do fail, there is an option for laparoscopic ovarian drilling, or what we call laparoscopic or keyhole surgery as well. So that is an option, but it comes way later on. Like I mentioned before, the first line of intervention is changing your lifestyle in terms of diet and exercise. And on Sunday, we are going to have professionals from all these different fields coming and, of course, ensuring that the women have a holistic perspective on PCOS and its management.
As it pertains, before we wrap things up, because again, this is so much information coming in, and I'm glad I'm talking with the professionals who can really guide it. I know we would have mentioned there are indeed issues when it comes to the fertility part of it, but let's say, okay, despite everything, the woman is pregnant. Is it that she could go full term? Are there complications within a pregnancy if somebody they have PCOS?
So there can be complications, but women with PCOS, with the proper interventions, can get pregnant. There's a myth that goes around that if you have PCOS, you can't get pregnant, you're going to be infertile for the rest of your life. But that's just a myth. With the proper lifestyle interventions and even the proper medical help as well, women can get pregnant and go full term.
Before we wrap things up, I've always heard this correlation between birth control also and PCOS. Is that valid?
So when we look at PCOS and hormonal contraceptives, sometimes it can be an intervention that we do give to persons. But like I said, lifestyle first, and then we get to the medications after.
Yeah.
Well said. Well, Dr. Dean, great conversation. Great to see you. Of course, President Nandani. I like what that song, President. see you blushing in the corner there. Yes. Listen, it's a tremendous work you're doing, and I want to congratulate you all and the team in advance. Let's put the information up. It's happening on Sunday, right there, Guardian Building.
2 to 5 p.m.
Right. Excellent. You can check out the website to register.
Or they can call us at 479-2271.
Well said. Good stuff. We're going to come back with our health tip, and we touch base with Akash, who's out there in New York for the UN General Assembly. He'll tell us the latest. See you soon.
Let's do this. You can get the help you need to succeed with Rand Credit Union. You can believe that you can achieve. Big goals, small ones too. Rand Credit Union, we've got you. No more waiting, that won't do. Make someday today. One life, so make it good. Live the way you know you should. With Rand Credit Union, yes you could. Make someday today.
Live your best life today with Rand Credit Union.
Protection that moves to your beat. Protect your home with Armor Security. With 24/7 monitoring, instant alerts, motion sensors, and rapid response, you and your loved ones stay protected day and night. Sign up for the Protector or Commander package today and get a free security camera and installation. Armor Security, powered by Flow, in partnership with All Pro Security. We keep your rhythm flowing. Visit us in-store or online at discoverflow.co for more details.
Food Basket. Food Basket, nation's #1 supermarket, bakery, restaurant, meat market, fresh producers, everything fantastic. For everyday low price, things real nice. Come in once, but to come back twice. Wholesale retail, everything for you. A real much wanna shop fair, go view. Food Basket, the nation's #1 supermarket, bakery, restaurant, meat market, fresh producers, everything fantastic. Food Basket, Marketplace, go view, where shopping is a pleasure and the price is right.
The Daily Health Tip, brought to you by Omega XL, where health is wealth.
Welcome. Today, we dive into the importance of improving adrenal gland circulation and how it impacts your overall health. The adrenal glands, small but mighty, sit atop your kidneys and play a crucial role in your body's stress response by producing hormones like cortisol. When faced with stress or high blood sugar levels, your adrenal glands release cortisol to help regulate glucose metabolism. However, chronic stress can lead to overproduction of cortisol, exacerbating insulin resistance and contributing to persistently high blood sugar levels. This chronic stress response and high cortisol levels often lead to inflammation, creating a feedback loop that worsens metabolic dysfunction. This is why managing adrenal gland health is vital. To improve adrenal gland circulation, several strategies can be highly effective. First, acupuncture can stimulate specific points on the body to promote blood flow and energy balance, supporting adrenal function. Nutritional strategies, such as incorporating foods rich in vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants like leafy greens, citrus fruits, and nuts, also enhance blood circulation. Herbal remedies, including adaptogenic herbs like licorice root, ashwagandha, and rhodiola rosea, can support adrenal function and improve blood circulation. Regular aerobic exercise, such as brisk walking, jogging, or cycling, improves overall blood circulation and supports adrenal health. Practices like yoga and Tai Chi not only promote relaxation, but also enhance circulation. Week by week, these practices can lead to significant health benefits. In the first week, you may feel a boost in energy as cortisol and adrenaline production increases. By the second week, blood pressure regulation improves, leading to more stable blood pressure levels. In the third week, enhanced metabolic health is noticeable as cortisol levels stabilize, improving glucose handling and reducing insulin resistance. Finally, by the fourth week, immune function strengthens, reducing the frequency of illnesses and improving overall well-being. These improvements highlight the importance of maintaining optimal adrenal gland function. Optimal adrenal health leads to increased energy levels, improved stress resilience, enhanced immune function, better metabolic health, and greater mental clarity. Your adrenal glands are the silent champions working tirelessly to keep your body in balance. By understanding their vital role and supporting their health, you can optimize your well-being and thrive. Thank you for joining me. Stay informed and proactive about your health. Your journey to a healthier, more vibrant life starts with caring for your adrenal glands. Remember, Every small step you take towards better adrenal health contributes to your overall well-being. Celebrate your progress and continue to prioritize your health for a more vibrant life.
The Daily Health Tip, brought to you by Omega XL, where health is wealth.
Cars, sports, careers, food. We men always talk about these things, but not about our health. Did you know that testosterone is responsible for muscle mass, strength, deep voice, healthy hair growth, and the sex drive? With low testosterone, we may not achieve our potential. The good news is that Jameson Power for Men is an excellent testosterone support. Take Jameson Power for Men and perform to your max. Jameson, here for your health.
Get the best at Southern Food Basket. Gala apples, 10 for $20. Garlic, $9.95 per pound. Lentils, 2 pounds, $13.95. Split peas, 2 pounds, $7.95. No-name bathroom tissue, 24s, 2 bales, $89.95. Fiesta peas and carrots, 3 for $19.95. Fiesta dry pigeon peas, 3 for $23.95. Richport oil, 3 liters, $39.95. Available at Southern Food Basket at St. Charles Village, Princetown, SS Erin Road, Pinal, Southern Main Road, Point Fortin, Coffee Street, San Fernando.
Welcome to ABC Doors and Windows, TNT's #1 destination for the best quality and widest variety of doors and windows. Enhance your space with our premium wooden, steel panels, fiberglass, and steel security doors, complemented by our aluminum, UPVC, and steel windows. Shop for the best quality and service at ABC Doors and Windows. Visit our impressive showroom at 1 Chancatrace, El Socorro South, or call 638-7184 to get started. Trust ABC for a better choice.
Akash Samaru is in New York City for the 80th UN General Assembly, and he brings us the latest. Good morning to you, Akash.
A very good morning to everyone. It's been a busy few days here at the United Nations for this country. There have been bilateral meetings with Benin, Austria, Cuba, as well as with regional and Latin American bodies. There's a meeting with the U.S. on Monday that the Prime Minister will attend, and Kamala Persad-Bissessar is expected to arrive here in New York later this evening. But back to the UN agenda. One of the big-ticket items is the war in Gaza and the impasse between Israel and Palestine. And Trinidad and Tobago has a position on what's been transpiring. On Wednesday, we spoke with Foreign and CARICOM Affairs Minister Sean Sobers, who recommitted this country's recognition of the state of Palestine, which was initially done by this country's government in 2024 by way of cabinet note. And Minister Sobers underscored TNT's support for what's called the two-state solution. Now, that is the recognition of both an independent state of Israel and an independent state of Palestine. Now, most of the world is in support of this. In fact, 142 countries have backed this, but there's a major country, an ally of Israel, that's not on board, and that country is the United States of America. Now, given the close relationship this country's government is trying to build with the U.S., we asked Minister Sobers if there's been any pressure from the U.S. to change our position on Palestine. However, Sobers said not at all. He said the U.S. respects this country's sovereignty and has made no attempt to bully this nation into backing its position on the matter. Well, that's it for now. Hopefully, cameraman Neil Romain and I can speak with the Prime Minister, and if we do, you'll see it on the Brew. Take care for now.
Akash, sincere thanks. Continue bringing us the ball by ball out there for the UN General Assembly. As always, great being in your company. Thank you so much for spending the morning with myself and the amazing team here at CNC3. God spare. I'm back for more tomorrow. Until then, be safe and have a great day.
Brew is brought to you by Omega XL. Live long, stay strong.
The views and opinions expressed in the following program are not necessarily those of CNC3.
Unlock the secret to natural recovery and sustained performance with the XL5. Join us in this unique presentation.